I just got an impulse.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Ah,
I can't say anything that's not a thought.
yeah. Brilliant. That's a nugget. That's why it's called the unspeakable.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we can't speak.
What would we say if we spoke?
Welcome back to Mind Blind and to part three of our mini series, Barbara's Burning. In today's episode, something shifts. You'll hear what happens right after Barbara has a profound insight. I guided her through a process, and what followed was remarkable. A stream of recognition, realizations, and poetic clarity. What you're about to hear is raw, unscripted, and alive. It's Barbara speaking from that place beyond thought, trying to put the unspeakable into words. Between each clip, you'll hear a chime. Let's drop in.
What would we say if we spoke?
Just what you did.
Say that nothing I could say would be true, or this is unspeakable. I mean,
Yes.
those are words that are
Yes.
relating, but it's not
Negating, like I said,
negating.
the negating of the false is true.
Oh, yes, right. So that's anything that I say that I recognize as false
Is true.
puts, oh, it's true. It is a further recognition of truth.
It's using language to point to the truth. That's the best language can do. Point, right? You can't think it, but you
Right,
can realize it or recognize it. You can know it,
right.
but thinking it is not knowing it.
But
Right?
negating the thought aids the knowing.
No, you know first. That's why you negate. Knowing doesn't need anything to know. You just know. Thinking hmm, is just thinking, not reality. Speech, pointing to something, we can point to something false. We can point to something in the room. We can point to something in the mind, but it's not the being, it's not the reality. It's a tool we can use to point with, but it can never replace reality. Right? You have knowing, you know the reality and the mind and the true and the false. The mind has been lived as if it's real, true, others, or you, and it's none of the above.
It's the mind still
Mind
trying
again.
to help. It was honestly
Yes,
trying to help.
yes, yes, it is. Yeah, that's its job. But if you don't discern, if you're not the intelligence, okay, the mind is not intelligence.
No,
It's a tool, it's got some information, it's got some idea, but it's not intelligence. It doesn't discern, it doesn't know. That's awareness's job. That's your job. So, and it will try to help. But it's the problem, not the mind itself, but what has been stored in the mind as real under the category real and true, which you put there. That's the problem. Okay. So don't get angry at the mind.
no, no.
Mind needs re-education. Okay. That's all. So you're going to use the reality to re-educate the mind, not follow the mind to educate you about reality. This makes no sense, right?
That didn't work. 75 years.
8 billion people, that didn't work.
Yeah, right, right.
Okay. And we've never, recognized the reality before. Most of us, we never even gave it a thought. Oh, we gave it actually so many thoughts. We gave reality thoughts that such that reality looks like thoughts to us, but we think it's reality. This you that you know so intimately that you've overlooked it, that you've caged it inside a person or a body, and it never was that to begin with. And so none of the thoughts that pertain to the body have anything to do with you. They have to do with the story, the distant story in the thought, in the mind, outside of the moment, but arising in the moment, being ephemerally known in the mind. But if you don't see that it's the mind, you mistake it for yourself. Don't do this anymore. Wake up from dreaming the mind like it's real, true, others are you. Come back to reality again and again and again, and you are chipping away at the shell. Now, awakening is a loaded word. Okay? Some people, Barbara alluded earlier to, oh, it's not an instant, it's a process. What is the it that we're talking about? The process of awakening, there is a process. We go dreaming, we suffer, we wake up out of it. We go dreaming, we suffer, we wake out of it. Hopefully, eventually, you dream less, you stay awake longer. Okay? And in the waking state is when you can challenge your beliefs that you've stored as real and true in the mind, that you've been living since you did that, and challenge them with reality, not just more thinking. That will go nowhere. You challenge them in reality so that you can see and come into alignment with the reality of your true self, of the nature of your true self. Where are you? Where do you find yourself? Is it as the body, in the body? Body's changed these whole lives. You're the same you. Can't be the body. You can challenge all these things from your direct experience. You know that the body's changed. You've seen the body change. That's a direct knowing, not just a thought. You don't just have, oh yeah, the body has changed. It's not just a thought. You know that. So you have a direct knowing. Enlightenment to the truth, or self-realization is the word I prefer, is not the same as awakening. So you're going through this process of suffering when you're not awake, and then awakening and not suffering, and back and forth until you, more and more, you stabilize out of it. And in those stable moments, you can do the inquiry to start to recognize your true nature. And when you start to recognize your true nature, you'll recognize it in and as everything. Oh, this is what I am. This is what myself is. And that's what this is. I am that I am. The mind will say that, but only because you see it. Don't just try and say it and therefore, oh, now I've got it. No. Okay. You see it first. Do you recognize that you see it? Or do you just run off in the mind going, oh, I got it. I'm enlightened now. Ah, I'm enlightened. And then we have an enlightened ego. They're the worst kind. I much prefer a suffering ego. You don't want to keep it. So this awakening is a process, but self-realization is an instant. It is an instant recognition of yourself, your true self. So having said, it's me, you can never say I'm what I thought I was, and you can never say it's not me, right?
Yeah.
I'll hold you to that. When you recognize that what you used to think was a cup, a bottle, a tree, is not a cup, a bottle, a tree, but you actually literally recognize yourself in and as all of it, that's self-realization. Don't try to manufacture that. Don't try to take the me and make it into that, or make that into me. No. This is all on the mental level. This is on the story level. It's the furthest away you could get. P.S. Mind tried to help, but it's not the one who knows. You are.